Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have a 3 looks 1 palette using the new Makeup Revolution and Emily Edit the Wants palette. If you guys don't know who Emily Noel 83 is, you definitely have to go check out her channel. She is one of the OG beauty YouTubers here in the community, and she is just so humble and sweet and honest, and she created this amazing palette with Makeup Revolution. I knew I had to bring you guys multiple looks because there are so many incredible colors. I really just wanted to dip into as many as I could. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe before you leave, and let's just hop on into the first tutorial using the Wants palette. So first things first, I'm going to start off by taking the shade Midwest and using this as my transition shade. I want to apologize really quickly if the lighting is a little bit off in some parts of this video. For some reason, the coloring of the palette, whenever I would put it in frame, it really messed with like the white balance in the video, and it would make it look like a little bit like a greenish yellow, I guess is the best way that I could describe it. So I tried color correcting it as best as I could, but I still feel like overall the lighting isn't the greatest in this clip, so I'm so sorry, but I really hope that you guys still enjoy. I still wanted to include it because I really did like this look. But now you guys are seeing me take the shade Laugh Cry right here. It is a gorgeous, really warm shade. Definitely leans more on an orange coral side, and I love how it looks in the crease. It added so much definition. So now I'm just blending that out with my Morphe M505. To deepen things up on my outer corner, I'm taking the shade Cheer. This is a gorgeous deep burgundy shade. So far, all of these mattes applied beautifully, but after each tutorial, I will be going over a recap of all the shades I used and what I thought of them. So definitely stay tuned for that. But I think this applied so pretty, and I love warm shades like this. You guys know I totally live for all the warmth on my eyes, and this combination was so pretty. But I felt like when I blended it away, I was losing some of that impact. So I'm taking a different brush. I will have all of the brushes I use linked down below for you guys if you are curious. I felt like if you pack this on first instead, like I'm doing now, and then go ahead and blend it after, I just felt like it applied a little bit better. So that's just a tip if you guys want like maximum intensity, and then just blending all of those shades out with our initial transition shade, which is Midwest. Now for my lid, I'm taking the shade Oh Heavens, which is a gorgeous shimmery pearl shade. I really just wanted something to brighten up the lid. I didn't want to be fancy or carve it out with concealer or anything, just to brighten up the front of my lid, and I really like how this shade looks. It kind of reminds me of Nylon by MAC. It definitely gives me similar vibes. I feel like Nylon maybe has a slight more of a yellow undertone, but I definitely feel like formula wise and stuff like that, it's a very, very similar consistency. And then just making sure all of the edges are blended, going back in with a little bit of that Cheer shade to blend everything together, and then just popping some of the cream on my brow bone to brighten everything up. For my lower lash line, I'm taking the shade Dues Paid, which is a gorgeous, rich, warm brown color. This reminds me so much of Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek, just that classic, delicious, warm brown that I love so much. And I definitely wanted something to make the eye look more cohesive, but I didn't want to go too heavy on the bottom, and this shade was perfect for this look. And lastly, for the eye look, I'm taking Oh Heavens and popping that on my inner corner. And now I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit more about the shadows and what else I'm wearing on my face. So here is look 1 all done using the Makeup Revolution, the Emily Edit the Wants palette. I figured after each of these looks I would give you guys like what I think of the look, what I thought of the colors and how they performed. I definitely have to say out of today's look, the mattes that I used were my favorite. They were incredible. So first I went in with Midwest in my transition, and that was absolutely great. Laugh Cry was such a beautiful, like intense, warm, orangey coral shade. I didn't think I would like that as much as I would. Cheer looks gorgeous on my outer corner. I feel like it's pulling like a little bit, I don't know if you guys can really see, like it's pulling a little bit more of like a hot pink it is on my eye than actually in the pan. In the pan, it looks like a true burgundy shade. Those mattes were absolutely incredible. Also, I ran a little bit of Dues Paid. This reminds me a lot of a shade like Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek under my lower lash line. Again, a beautiful warm brown. The last shade that I used that wasn't a matte was Oh Heavens right here. This swatched beautifully on my arm, and when I dipped into it in my finger. I did have some trouble though applying it to my lid. I think the finished product came out nice. I think it really brightened the inner corner of my lid. I found the best method of application was with my dry finger. I tried using this with a dry brush and it didn't really give me that much impact. And then I also tried using it with a wet brush and I found that the pigment was almost disappearing. So I really found that I got the most impact with the color when I put it on with a dry finger, kind of pressed and then swept the color across my lid. Again, just doing this like Emily style, let me quickly just go over what is on the rest of my face and what I paired with the eye look. So the lipstick is the Morphe X Ofra Vinyl Liquid Lipstick. I love this shade. I love how it goes with my shirt and I really wanted to stick to like an overall burgundy kind of theme. For my bronzer, I used my Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer in the shade Rosewood, and then I went in and contoured with the Stila Stay All Day contouring bronzer for face and body in the shade Medium. My blush today, I wanted to stick with something really peachy and warm, so this is the Flormar Terracotta Blush on Powder in the shade Golden Peach. This is one of my all-time favorite blushes. It just gives such a pretty flush of peach to the cheeks, and it is also like a luminous formula. And last but not least, this awesome highlighter. Do you guys see how glowy my cheeks look today? This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. Just sticking with like a warm theme. This is kind of like a nice warm rosy gold shade. So that is the completed look that I came up with today using the Emily Edits the Wants palette. I will be back tomorrow for you guys and we will be doing another look using some different shades in this gorgeous palette. Let's go ahead and get started with look number 2. I wanted to do something fun and different for you guys because I know I do a lot of similar looks here on my channel. So for this look, we're going to be doing a really fun green cut crease. So for my transition shade today, I'm going in with the shade Hobby. Something that I really love about this palette is that it has transition shades for like every single undertone, every single look you want to do, and a bunch of different skin tones as well. So I knew I wanted to do a green look, and that shade Hobby definitely has more of an olive green undertone within the brown. So now I'm going to take the shade Corduroy and start running this through my crease. This is a really pretty forest green, but I found that with this fluffy brush, I wasn't getting the intensity that I wanted. So I switched over here to a Morphe M433. This is a bit more of a firmer packing / blending brush, and I found that it really packed a punch in this way. So with these darker shades, you guys might want to use a little bit more of a dense brush. But I started by running this through my crease. I really wanted that shade to be intense. I know it looks a little bit crazy right now, but don't worry, it'll all come together once I carve out my lid. But then I'm just going back in here with a little bit more of that Hobby shade to really blend everything out and to make that corduroy shade a little bit more seamless. To actually create the cut crease, now I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I wear mine in the shade C6. Please excuse the jagged edges of my cut crease. I will go back and fix that with shadow later, but I don't really have a good cut crease brush. So if you guys have any recommendations on what you like to use to create your cut creases, definitely let me know, but I tried my best. It definitely took me a while, so I actually just went ahead and did the second eye off camera because it took your girl a really long time to get these even. For my lid, I'm taking the shade Grateful. This was such a fun shade to play around with. I don't have anything like this in my collection, and it packed such a punch. The formula on this particular shade is really great, and I also love the color because it definitely is green, but it almost has a little bit of an icy undertone, which I really feel like tones it down and makes it wearable. I would even wear this on my lid even if I had just like a little bit of brown in the crease. Throw this on my lid. It's a little fun pop of color, but still wearable. But definitely a fun shade, like I just said a million times. Just taking this on a little Morphe brush. I believe this is a G9 brush, just really making sure to get all of those edges around the concealer, and then going back in with a little bit more of that corduroy shade to blend everything together. Further blending the edges with a little bit more of that Hobby shade. This is definitely one of those looks that takes a lot of back and forth, a little bit more of the darker shade, a little bit more blending. You really just have to play around until you get it. But I wanted more of a defined line over the top of that bright green shade on my lid. So I'm taking a little eyeliner brush. I believe this one is from Sigma. I will have it linked down below. It is an affiliate link if you guys were wondering, just a heads up, but I'm taking that just to really outline the top of that light shade to make it stand out. I went ahead and did the rest of my face off camera, and now working on my lower lash line, I just took the same transition shade that we used Hobby and ran that under my lower lash line. And to intensify that a little bit and add more of a pop of green, I went in with the shade Side Hustle from the palette with that same little definer brush. First, I was just drawing a line, and I kind of wanted to extend it out to connect to the bottom of that cut crease, and then just going in with a fluffy brush to smoke everything out. Just to complete the look now with some finishing touches, I'm taking the shade Oh Heaven and applying this on my inner corner. I also took this shade on my brow bone. I don't normally wear shimmer shades on my brow bone, but with such intense looks like this, I just think it's really fun and it kind of makes the look more cohesive and just fun overall. Then I just finished up the look with some lower lashes as well as lips. Hi guys, so here's look number 2 using the Makeup Revolution and Emily Edit palette all done. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing that little tutorial. This was one of those looks that when I first started out, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a disaster. I'm not great at cut creases, and especially when it comes to playing with colors like this. I was so scared and so freaked out. I really thought that this was gonna be a mess, especially when I went in with that darker green corduroy shade in my crease. I got a little bit scared, but after I did the concealer and actually cut my crease, I knew that this was gonna be good. It really cleaned up the look. I absolutely love all of these shades that I used today. I think all of them performed well. So just to do a little recap, I did Hobby in my crease, which is a really nice crease shade. It has a little bit of like an olivey undertone. So when I had in mind that I wanted to do like a green look today, I knew that would be a perfect transition. That blended out really nicely. Again, I feel like these shades take a little bit of blending. They're not really pigmented right off the bat, but I really like that, and I feel like I can appreciate that because they're easier to build up and make more of a gradient rather than slapping on too much color at once. So I really like the consistency of these shades. I feel like when I first went in with the shade Corduroy, which is the beautiful deep foresty green down here, it was a little bit sheer at first and it looked so rich and deep in the pan. I was like, why is this coming off so sheer? But I realized that I was still using more of like a fluffy blending crease brush. So I switched over to something a little bit more dense and it applied the color really nice with a lot more pigment. So just keep in mind with maybe some of these darker shades, you might want to use a little bit more of a dense brush to really get that color in place and then go in after and blend that out. Other than that though, I feel like once I was like, okay, maybe I need to switch brushes, that shade went on seamlessly. If you guys see right in that crease, I don't see any patches or anything. The shade that is on my lid, which is called Grateful, which is the beautiful green shade down here, I have absolutely no complaints about. I did not even use any Fix Plus or setting spray. I did not have to wet the shadow at all. I feel like it looks so intense. I did have that wet concealer down underneath, so that could be why it is looking as intense as it is. But for me, not having to put Fix Plus on a shadow, which I'm always inclined to do, I feel like that says a lot about how good the formula really is. So I love that shade. I think it goes great with the overall look, and again, it is just such an intense, smooth formula. Definitely one of the better colorful formulas of shadows that I worked with in a while. I'm always scared to use colorful shadows because I haven't found a formula that I'm absolutely crazy over, but I think that these are great. I think the look turned out great. I feel like doing the cut crease was pretty easy. I'm usually not the greatest at cut creases. They're usually like uneven, and I feel like I don't have the best eye shape for a cut crease, but I think that this one came out good. These shadows just blending so easy really made it look more seamless and 10 times more easy to do. So that is look number 2 for you guys as far as the shadows go. Just to show you guys really quickly what I paired this look with on the rest of my face, again, I used my Anastasia Rosewood bronzer, the Stila contouring bronzer in medium. Then for blush, I wanted to keep it a little bit more muted and on the pink side, so I went in with Milani's Rose blush in Romantic Rose, a really great just like neutral everyday pink. And then for my highlighter, I went in with Becca and Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop just to add like a little bit of a peachy rose gold touch to the cheeks. And then on my lips, I love this combination. I have on ColourPop and Kathleen Light's What's Your Sign. This is her lipstick from the new Zodiac collection, my favorite just like everyday peachy nude. And then on top, I went in with the Wet n Wild lip gloss in the shade Featherless, and this was from their Hummingbird Hype collection over the summer. So that is going to complete look number 2 using the Emily Edit the Wants palette. All of these shadows performed amazing. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing something a little bit different from me today, and I will see you tomorrow for the final look. And last but not least, we have look number 3 while I watch Gossip Girl at the same time. If you guys see me looking away, that is why. So first, I'm going to start off with the shade Prayer. This is such a pretty transition shade. I know I say that for every single look, but like I said previously, this palette just has the most amazing transition shades. This one is brown, but it has a strong mauve-y, slight purple undertone, and I just thought it was perfect for the look that I had in mind. So I'm running that through my crease using the Wet n Wild blending brush, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's only like 99 cents in the drugstore if you guys are wondering. But I wanted the shade to be a little more concentrated, so I switched over to my Sigma E38, an amazing crease brush. I will have it linked down below for you guys, like I said before. Taking the shade Apartment to pack on my outer corner. This is a really beautiful classic fudgy brown shade, and I love how it applied on the outer corner. This was the only shade in the palette that I experienced some fallout, as you guys can see, but other than that, I really had no other issues. I thought this shade was really pigmented and beautiful. For this look, I really wanted to do like a typical Jackie Ann makeup look, dark outer corner, half cut crease in the front of my eye, and then a fun pop of color on the lower lash line. So right now I'm just taking a little bit more of that original transition shade that I used just to blend out that Apartment shade even more. I definitely knew that I wanted to give this look somewhat of a purple vibe, so I just wanted to kind of liven up that brown Apartment shade a little bit, and I'm just dusting a little bit of Family, which is a gorgeous, almost like a dusty, true purple shade right over those browns, and then again, just blending it all out. Again, I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C6 to carve out the front of my lid. This is my favorite makeup look to do because I have smaller and almost hooded lids, and when you carve out your lid, you can definitely trick the eye and make your lid space look even bigger than it actually is. So that's why I do so many of my looks like this. I just love how it makes my lid space look so much bigger. And then to go over that, I'm going to take the shade Eve Rose, such a gorgeous champagne shade, but it definitely has a stronger pink undertone, and it sticks so well to the concealer. As you guys can see, it is such a vibrant shade, and again, this is like probably my favorite look that I did. The other two looks were more fun, but this one is just so up my alley, and I absolutely love this lid shade. Just taking a smaller brush, again the same one that I applied that concealer with, just to make sure that I have all of these spaces filled in with Eve Rose so that there's no concealer peeking through. And then of course I'm just going to go back in and do more blending, and then just with that same brush that I applied the brown and purple shades, just kind of extending that outer corner a little bit and deepening up the crease. You guys know the drill, taking the shade The Cream on my brow bone to lift and highlight that area, and then again just blending my top lid before I go off camera. Finish up my face to work on the lower lash line. I wanted to do a pop of color, so I'm taking that same Family shade on a small definer brush and running that on my lash line almost like to line it, and then I'm going to intensify that and really smoke it out and add even more of a bright pop with the shade Belle Violet. And lastly for the look, of course, taking the shade Oh Heavens on my inner corner, applying some mascara to my top and lower lashes, applying my lip, and then that is the completed final look. Alright you guys, so here's the third and final look using the Emily Edit Makeup Revolution, the Wants palette. Again, I love how this one turned out as well. Every single time I use this palette, I honestly just fall more and more in love with it. I've used a ton of different shades in here now, and most of them were just so awesome, and I loved how they performed. So just to do a quick recap on today's look, all of them performed really well. I love the crease shade that I used, which is Prayer. It is like such a gorgeous, like perfect transition shade. It has a little bit more of like a mauve tinge in there, but it's not too mauve. The one that I had not a problem with, but I noticed that Apartment did have some fallout on the face, but that's definitely not like different for a dark brown shade. A lot of dark brown shadows that I own, I always do tend to get some fallout on my cheeks, but that was pretty much the only shade that I used in this palette so far that actually did have fallout on the face. A couple of the shadows have a little bit of kickback in the pan, but it's nothing crazy, nothing unmanageable. All of these shades, even when you place them and blend them together, I feel like each of them still tends to shine through. You could still see the mauve peeking through, but then that nice brown on the outer corner. You could see the purples on the lower lash line. Overall, I just think this look came out so stunning. I wanted to keep this kind of like a classic Jackie Ann look with the shape, and like the tones are a little bit more neutral, but then I still wanted to do that pop of color because I've really been wanting to try some of the purples in this palette. But overall, you guys, I am so impressed with this palette. Like I said, I feel like I fall in love with it more and more every time that I use it, and I see myself being able to create so many different looks. I've created 3 looks with this palette so far, and I feel like I could probably create like 300 more. There are just so many creations I could see myself doing with this palette, and there have been so many palette launches lately, but I definitely feel the most inspired when I look at this one. Like, this makes me want to play around, and this makes me remember like why I fell in love with makeup. It personally for me has every single shade that I feel like I would ever personally want in a shadow. I don't play around with color often, so I feel like these are very wearable and safe colors that I feel really comfortable and good playing around with. And overall, I just think Emily did an incredible job, and I honestly can't think of anyone else who deserves this more than her. And I just knew when she created a product, she would come through with something so incredible. And then just quickly touching on what's on the rest of my face, for bronzer and contour, I use the same exact combination as my previous looks. And for blush today, I pulled out my Benefit blush bar. I've been wanting to show this guy some more love, and I forgot how much I love the blushes in here. So on my cheeks today, I have a mixture of Dandelion and Rockateur blush, just to give like a really pretty, like soft, more cool tone pink look. For my highlighter today, I wanted to go for something a little bit more icy, so I have the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek highlighter in the shade Spoon, and then I also paired that with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in Blossom Glow. And lastly, on my lips, the combo that I'm wearing is L'Oreal Sharpenable Lip Liner in 112 Mastermind. You guys know, always one of my favorites. And then I top that off with MAC Velvet Teddy. So that is going to officially complete this video. I had so much fun filming this, and I'm just so excited to continue to play around with this. If you guys haven't checked out this palette, I highly recommend that you do. I think it's going to be like a perfect staple palette for a lot of people. So definitely make sure to check out this palette. I will have it linked down below. If you are international, you can get it on makeuprevolution.com. If you are in the US, you could just go into your local Ulta and pick that up there as well, or you could order it on Makeup Revolution, whatever works best. And please make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to Emily. Like I said earlier in the video, she's just been like the original, I feel like she's just like the heart and soul of the beauty community, and I absolutely love her. She's been on this platform for so long, and when I use this palette, it just reminds me of why I fell in love with makeup in the first place and the beauty community here on YouTube. So definitely make sure to go check out Emily. She is almost at 1 million subscribers, and she deserves it more than anyone here on this platform. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video. Definitely let me know if you guys would want even more looks using this palette, because I feel like there are so many more that I could create. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future uploads, make sure you guys have my notifications on, and that way you'll get directly notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!